an extraordinary week to be alive and breathing. Welcome to Michelle's Magical Monday. We have so many wonderful things coming in with this week's astrological and energy update. I just can't wait to share it with you. And in the meantime, I do want to thank you, those of you who sent me birthday wishes. It was an extraordinary birthday. It was everything I could ask for. So many gifts and so many really beautiful, thoughtful notes and things. So I love you. Thank you so very much. And let's just get into today because it's a powerhouse of a day. Happy Beltane for those of you who celebrate. And for those of you who don't know exactly what Beltane is, it's one of my favorite days because it celebrates and brings in this high growth season that we're in. We're halfway between spring equinox. How could it be going that fast? Halfway between spring equinox and midsummer. And that's what they call a cross quarter day. And they're also called fire holidays. This particular one, we've got our red candles and our red roses. I've even got a little heart-shaped candle, red heart-shaped candle going here. Is bringing in the energy of ignition. We just had that Aries solar eclipse. We've got a lunar eclipse in Scorpio coming up at the end of the week. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. And right now we're in high growth season. We're in Taurus season. I love Taurus season, not just because I'm a Taurus, but because Taurus is ruled by Venus, and Venus is the goddess of all things that relate to love, money, home, work, family, body, creature comforts, wealth. You know, it rules the voice and the throat, but really, I think what's happening here is since we have Mercury retrograde in Taurus, we're reevaluating what and who we value and how we allow ourselves to be valued in the world. So this means to me that if it's coming up for you right now that you're not feeling valued, you may demand that in some way in your life. If you're not feeling valued, you need to be valued. If you are reevaluating even more internally, you may be realigning what you value, who you value, and how those relationships, what and how those relationships really mean to you. To me, that's what Taurus in retrograde really does. Who is your key relationships? What do you value about them? And how do they treat you? And how do you treat yourself? That's going to be a big theme. But it's also work. Like, are you charging enough? Are you getting paid enough? Are you getting enough time off? Are you getting enough rest? A lot of times with Mercury retrograde, if you're out of alignment, you get sick because you're actually needing to rest. When we're in a retrograde, we use all the R words. And I actually had an analogy today when I was with a beautiful client. We were talking about being out of alignment right now. And it is a time to reevaluate, recenter, and realign. And it doesn't really take that long, but that is what is being asked of us today. That when anything isn't exactly the way you want it right now, that's really how do you want to flip the script? How do you want to make the reframe? You have to become a priority. And it's interesting because today is also the beginning of Pluto retrograde, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's today. And with this Pluto retrograde, it's going to last until October. So this is a season of reevaluating pretty much anything that has to do with your spirituality, the underworld, your undercurrent. So who are you being in the world? How do you want to see the world? From what perspective are you seeing the world and being perceived in the world? So it's going to be an interesting summer, but it's going to be an even more interesting week. We are lining up for a full moon eclipse in Scorpio, and we're going to do it on the 555 portal. Some people say 55. That's absolutely happening. 5 and 5 end up being an energetic 1, which is new beginnings. But if you really look at the year, it's 23. So it's really the 555 portal. And when you look at it that way, it ends up being 5 and 5, and 5 ends up being a 15, so it's a 6. And when you look at that 6 energy, we're in the energy of the collective consciousness. And if you just look at the energy of 5, you're talking freedom. So it's very watery. It's Scorpio. So we're talking big dreams this week with this Pluto and Taurus in retrograde. And then you bring Scorpio, which is all about death and rebirth. I'm even wearing my Phoenix scarf today because we are changing, whether you like it or not, our vibration and our frequency. And it's all about frequency. It's always about frequency. So if you feel like you need to sleep, or you need to rest, or you need to reevaluate, or you need to realign, take some time. This is a perfect time to sit, meditate, be in nature, because Taurus season is all about nature and pleasure. So like maybe take your food and sit outside. If you're not up north and it's snowing, because I did hear that it snowed for May Day in some places up north, so I'm sorry. But here in Central Florida, and those of you who are watching down south, we have a beautiful day. In fact, there's a cardinal and a bluebird outside my window. So if you hear Joy chirp, as we did last week, she was making some fun sounds. She's actually bird watching right now. So my kitty cat, if you don't know me, Joy, has been making all kinds of interesting noises today as these birds come through and fly by. So we just want to do that. We want to really live present in the moment. There is something to be said right now about being here now. And we're asking to recalibrate into that alignment. So I just want to do a little exercise and maybe a little energy activation to align with that. So let's just see you come center and relax your neck and shoulders. I always like to do this. Make sure that your shoulders come down and they're not earrings anymore. And close your eyes and take a deep breath and even touch your heart. When everything is out of alignment, when everything is overwhelming, crazy, weird, whatever, I like to touch my heart, take a few deep breaths, and really just be here now. And imagine dropping an anchor out your tailbone down into the earth. And bring the energy up through your tailbone, through your legs, making sure that you're bringing the energy of earth into your legs, into your hips, and then start bringing it up your spine, creating a column of light in your spinal column. Imagine that while doing that, you're also creating a bubble of light, sparkly white light all the way around you, at least 3 feet. Make sure that you include that behind you energy. So above you and below you, bringing the energy up through the top of your head like a beautiful lotus blossom. And imagine that throughout this ball of light, you have a sparkly white light cleansing, clearing, removing, and releasing everything that isn't yours from your field. soul fragments, other people's energy, and then even your own energy that's unwanted, your worry, your fear, your overwhelm, your concern, your shame, any negative emotion. Just release it here now and center into peace, center into love, washing away, cleansing, and removing anything that is not of a vibration that really works for you. And commanding to come into alignment. It is commanded that you're in alignment, re-centered, recalibrated, renewed, restored. And that as you do this, you are centering yourself and even rising your frequency. And with this energy, this liminal in between, this portal energy, the retrogrades and the portal of the eclipses, go ahead and find a version of you energetically, the version of you that's already got all the things that are calling to you. You're not looking for them anymore. They're already in your field. And I want you to calibrate your cells, your hormones, your alignment to be the version of the frequency of the one who already holds the frequency of this is already mine. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It is done, it is done, it is done. And with that, activating the action principle of what actions do I take to be the version of me that already has this? How do I act as if this is true, and therefore calibrate it already being true, and therefore making it inevitable for it to be true? And when you do that, I want you to just feel it, taste it, see it, smell it. What does it smell like? What does it taste like? What are all of your senses doing to be on this magic carpet ride to your inevitable success? And taking a deep breath and releasing anything that you're holding back, and resetting yourself for this is already here. This is who I am. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It is done, it is done, it is done. So it is, and so it shall be. And you can just do something as simple as that as often as you have to right now to really be in the present tense, to be present with your choices, with your renewal, with your love. It's so nice to see all of you again. Thank you, thank you, thank you for every birthday wish and every response. Thank you for everybody I've met. I've been on a wild ride the last couple of weeks. I went to Kansas City for Women Rising. Thank you so much for all those awesome, beautiful women and all the people I saw along the way and on the way back. It was a great road trip. I stopped in Georgia to see Lisa Tony. We did our live from Destin with Ashley. So thank you for letting me stop in Destin and do my live on my way home. And all the different things. Thank you, Joy, for having, I went to the Simplify to Multiply retreat this week. And I also had a nice weekend last weekend in St. Augustine. And then this weekend for Beltane, thank you, Patrick, for helping me show up at the Center for the Place of the Heart. We have the new retreat center in Altamont Springs that we did our Beltane Bliss event. And OMG, was it great. We did singing gong bowl in the pool. While we're in the pool, he's playing this music and creating vibration. We did oil anointing. We did meditation where he did singing bowls while we were meditating. It was just an incredible day. So thank you everybody who showed up, and thank you, Patrick, for just showing up. And always, I have these wonderful ideas, and Patrick and Marissa and basically anybody that's on my team, I say, I want to do this. And they say, okay. And make it happen. So thank you all for doing those things. So Marissa, I can't thank you enough. Because my birthday happened last week, I am also feeling these eclipses, which is always a time for transformation, new things arriving, new ideas, new processes. I always get a little crazy around my birthday where I'm changing up how I do things, and you may be feeling that too because of the eclipses. Lean into who you're becoming and let go of who you've been without any kind of resistance, and it will just be that much easier. In all of that being said, I do have 2 really beautiful programs that I'm running right now. I've been super excited to do the Red Rose Gate program. It's going to feature all the information that I've learned over the last year and a half about Tantra. Well, not everything, but a sampling of some of the things I've learned about Tantra. Is going to have some deep body acceptance, and we're going to really talk about being a priestess of the red rose. And when I say that, that means we're going to go deeper into embodiment, self-love, body acceptance, and pleasure. You know, we don't talk about pleasure enough. Embodying joy and sharing joy in the world, it's so important. People tell me that they feel disconnected with their body, and they've been there. In fact, I'm going to be a little vulnerable. I remember when I hated my body. I had this experience where I had a brand new boyfriend and we were going to be swimming, and I was like, I can't meet your family in a bathing suit. And you know, I'm a goddess-sized woman. I am not a skinny mini, and I haven't been for many years. And at this time, I did not accept my body. I kind of hated it. And I had a friend, and this was before Torrid and Lane Bryant had all these cute little bathing suits for plus size women. I had a friend actually make me a bathing suit that reminded me of a 1940s bathing suit. And for the first time ever, I felt cute in a bathing suit. I had bathing suit trauma all the way from the early 70s. Yes, I'm 51 years old. So from the 70s, I had bathing suit trauma because I hated my body. I used to get called the great white whale at the swimming pool in the 80s, because of course in the 80s everything was spray tan, sunbathing, and they would actually put baby oil directly on the body and use tin foil to get these tans. And here I was, everybody had these permed hair, and I had poker straight hair and pale white skin in the 80s. So I hated myself in a bathing suit. I hated the way I looked. I hated the color of my skin. I hated pretty much everything about the way I looked until I was about 15 or 16 years old. And then I started to love and accept myself. And over the last, 30 years, I've had to really embody self-love and self-acceptance. And fast forward to yesterday, I'm in this pool in a bikini, just running the event, and I realized I never would have been seen in a bikini. I don't even think I had a bikini until I was 48 years old. And so I want to help you if this is something that it is coming up for you, whether this is in the Red Rose Gate program, or if you want to work on body acceptance in my Living Magically coaching program. I am helping anyone who is ready right now to love their body. I've helped hundreds of women love their body at this point. Help overcome fear of being seen, fear of showing themselves, fear of having their voice, self-hate, shame, all of those negative emotions that we internalize. Keep in mind that what's inside your body is this cellular memory of everything you say to it. the inside of you doesn't know anything is outside of you. So if you say horrible things to your body, to yourself, or you are allowing people to say them to you in verbal abuse, or even just someone who doesn't have this way of talking to you that is nice enough, and you need to create some boundaries, please let me help you. This would mean the world to me. So if there's any interest in really transforming your life, please get a hold of me. You can message me, you can send me an email, you can text me, whatever way you want to get a hold of me. This season, this powerful time right now that we're in is a time where we can transform our self-love, our acceptance, and become one with our pleasure, one with our joy, one with our just embodiment of life. And so whether you do that with me or you do this on your own, or even you want to be in something smaller like the Red Rose program, I encourage you to get to that self-love, self-acceptance. And if that means forgiveness, if that means getting rid of anger or shame, whatever it is you need to do, now is the time, and the time is now. So let me know if there's something I can do, how this lands. I want to know how you're doing. And so happy Beltane, and really enjoy this week. Be gentle with yourself. And one last thing I want to say about this week is, remember, everybody else on the entire planet is getting eclipsed too. Full moon in Scorpio. Even the police and nurses and hospitals know that things get a little wonky around the full moon. And with the eclipse, you're also going to see the fact that we're all going to feel lucid dreaming or not sleeping, or maybe you're sleeping more. Our bodies are more water than anything else. And we have the same percentage of water in our bodies as the earth has on its planet. And of course, the moon controls the water, the tides. So this full moon in a water sign, Scorpio, just tells me that every single person's going to be at heightened emotions, heightened sensitivity, and maybe just feeling it. So be nicer, be kind to yourself, be kind to the people around you. Try not to take things personally. Don't over boil. And if you're angry, try and take a few minutes, walk away before you say something. Make sure that you're saying it, or if you're typing it, that you reread it before you hit send. Just be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and we'll have a great week just because of that. So happy May. I love May. All the things that May can bring. Enjoy yourself. Try and be really aligned and recalibrated. And I will see you again next week on Monday for Michelle's Magical Monday. I love you, and have a magical week.